All right, let's talk about something that so many of us deal with, hair loss. Today, we're going to dig way past the surface level stuff to get to a root cause that almost nobody talks about. And, more importantly, we're going to talk about what you can actually do to start turning things around. So, let's kick things off with a question that's probably crossed your mind. How on earth can someone grow a thick, healthy beard, but at the very same time, the hair on their head is thinning out or just gone? It doesn't make any sense, right? Well, that little paradox right there holds the entire key to what's really going on. And the answer begins with this one hormone, DHT. Just think of DHT as testosterone's much more powerful cousin. As we get older, our bodies naturally start converting more of our testosterone into DHT. A little bit is totally normal, but when you get too much of it, well, that's the #1 trigger for common hair loss. So what does all this excess DHT actually do? Well, it sets off this whole chain reaction. And the very first domino to fall is inflammation. You see, high levels of DHT start to really irritate the environment around your hair follicles, those little factories that are supposed to be growing your hair. Now, we're not talking about a little bit of redness that goes away. When this inflammation is chronic, when it's happening day after day, the body's healing response kind of goes haywire. It starts creating these tiny microscopic bits of scar tissue all around the follicle, and that, as you can imagine, makes the whole problem a lot worse. And this is the end result. That scar tissue builds up, it gets hard, and it literally begins to suffocate the hair follicle. It chokes off the blood supply, cuts off the oxygen, and eventually, the follicle just gives up. It shuts down. Hair stops growing for good. And that shiny look you see on a bald scalp? Yep, that's basically the scar tissue. Okay, so now we know DHT is the bad guy. But just stopping there is like patching a leak in your ceiling without ever turning off the busted pipe. It's not enough. We have to ask the bigger question. Why is the body making so much of this stuff in the first place? It's not just about getting older, and it's not just genetics. There is a much deeper driver. And here it is. This is the big one. The primary driver behind all that excess DHT is actually a metabolic issue called insulin resistance. This is the missing link that connects what's happening in your body directly to the health of your hair. And understanding this, well, it changes everything. So, you're probably wondering, how does this work? Well, it's kind of a triple whammy. First, insulin resistance cranks up the production of the enzyme that turns testosterone into DHT. Second, it puts a huge strain on your liver, so the liver can't properly regulate your hormones anymore. This leads to way more free testosterone just floating around, which is basically just more fuel for the fire, ready to be converted into that hair-killing DHT. You see, we have to totally shift how we think about this. It's not enough to just try and block a hormone and hope for the best. You've got to fix the entire environment, the whole ecosystem of the scalp. Think of your scalp like a garden. You can't grow a healthy plant in hard, toxic soil. You've got to fix the soil first. So let's talk about some practical things you can do to revive that soil from the outside. First up, microneedling. This is amazing for physically breaking up that hard scar tissue and aerating the scalp. Second, red light therapy. This helps recharge the mitochondria, the tiny little energy factories inside your follicle cells. And third, rosemary oil. This stuff is fantastic for boosting circulation and getting oxygen and nutrients back to the follicles, kind of like how some medications work, but naturally. But look, all those external treatments are only half the battle. For them to really work, you have to support your body from the inside. You got to give it the actual building blocks it needs to grow hair again. There are two nutrients here that are absolutely non-negotiable. First is vitamin D3. It is so important for stimulating the growth factors that basically tell your dormant follicles, hey, it's time to wake up and get back to work. To really see a difference, you're looking at a minimum dose of 10,000 IUs every day. And the second must-have nutrient is zinc. Zinc is absolutely essential for activating the stem cells inside the follicle that are needed to generate a new strand of hair. For this, you want to be targeting around 30 to 40 milligrams a day. And hey, if you want to add a little more firepower to your routine, here's some other great natural compounds that help block that enzyme that makes too much DHT. Saw palmetto is a really famous one, but pumpkin seed oil is fantastic. So is the EGCG found in green tea, and even peppermint oil can be super effective. All right, let's have some fun with this and put it all on a plate. If you were going to build the ultimate meal for hair growth, what would it actually look like? Let's design a plate that's just jam-packed with all the key nutrients we've been talking about.
Okay, the star of the show, the foundation of this meal is going to be liver and onions. I know, but listen. Liver is an absolute powerhouse of easily absorbable heme iron, zinc, and copper, all crucial minerals for your hair. And the onions? They're loaded with something called quercetin, which is a really potent natural anti-inflammatory to help calm that scalp down.
Now, for our side dish, a big serving of sauerkraut. Why sauerkraut? Because a single half-cup serving can have over 700 milligrams of vitamin C, which you need to build collagen for your skin and hair. Plus, it's got hundreds of other phytonutrients that help fight inflammation and even lower DHT. And for the final touch, we're going to sprinkle on some pumpkin seeds. Not only are they a fantastic source of magnesium, which most of us are low in, but remember what we just said? Pumpkin seeds are also a great natural DHT inhibitor, so you're fighting the problem right there on your plate. So, let's wrap this all up. The key takeaway is this. The microneedling, the red light therapy, the oils, all that stuff can definitely help. But those things will never, ever be a long-term fix unless you solve the real problem happening on the inside, that insulin resistance. You have to heal your metabolism first. That's how you create an environment where hair can truly thrive again. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Try not to see your hair as just a cosmetic thing. Think of it as a check engine light, a powerful window into what's going on with your metabolic health on the inside. So the real question is, what is your hair trying to tell you right now? Thanks so much for joining me.